And issue number 3, sometimes physical connection will only ruin your legato, driving you away from your goal, actually. So, in order to explain what I meant by these claims, let's first ask ourselves, what is legato actually? So if you will see some definitions in Wikipedia somewhere on the web, you might see that legato, in translation, is connected, and playing legato, we should play everything smoothly and connecting notes. I would say that legato, first of all, it's an audible connection between notes, and if we reach that goal, connecting notes physically, great, then we do a physical connection. If we can get it otherwise, then we don't have to connect them physically, and sometimes we shouldn't connect them physically, and I will analyze such examples in this video. But another aspect, actually even more important in my opinion, and an aspect that is very important for me personally, for my personal approach and my philosophy of piano playing, is that, in my opinion, legato is a skill that helps us to make our listeners forget about a percussive nature of this instrument. Because when you hit a key, what does happen actually? Bang! The hammer hits the string with a violent force. So this is a violent, rough action, and we get a bang. And then we hit another key, another bang. So actually, if I would just play 4 notes in a row, even if I would connect them with fingers, nevertheless, it sounds like bang, 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 bang. And this is absolutely an unacceptable way because to play piano, if we want to play a real legato, because we hear those impulses. So for example, let me demonstrate what I mean on a famous piece by Beethoven, which you of course know, all of you. So for example, I want to start this piece with a beautiful legato. So I connect notes with fingers. How do you think, was it a good legato or not? I would say it's a horrible legato because I had an unnecessary impulse on B. Or, for example, this is not good also because I had an impulse on the last note. So in order to play legato, I would need to shape this phrase in such a way that I would not have any unnecessary impulses. And this involves understanding of phrasing. So phrasing is our key point to playing, to mastering legato, because I can actually play this phrase without providing a finger connection. I can actually play it even like with a pencil, not with fingers at all, using just pedal, my ears, and just providing a nice shape, nice phrasing to this melody. For example. And what is important here is to avoid impulses on strong beats. So after this note, we have 2 very expressive seconds. G sharp, E, G sharp, E. So our task is to play them on rather like micro diminuendo, having more support on D sharp. Of course, D sharp should not be too strong either, but nevertheless, providing this kind of glissando connection. So it should feel very smooth. And then, of course, avoiding accent when we go lower. And, of course, avoiding accent on the last note. Providing as smooth connection as possible. And, of course, then minimizing all these motions in order to make it sound really smooth. So phrasing has an essential role because, as I have already demonstrated before, piano is a percussive instrument. So as soon as you hit the note, it starts making diminuendo, like immediately. And in order to create a singing effect, we have to constantly shape in the line dynamically. Basic rule for that is when melody goes up, we make a crescendo, and when the melody goes down, we make a diminuendo. So for example, if I would have just 4 notes, I would start the first note softly. It's very important to avoid impulse on the first note, especially when you play it with the thumb. The thumb is a very heavy finger, so our task is to dive into the key slowly. Just imagine that your forearm is a feather that falls down very slowly, and the wrist also cushions the shock. and you go with that constant slow speed all the